All right, greetings, greetings, greetings. Top of the morning to you. Hope everybody's doing great. Got an update. But first, let me shout out all of the wonderful cities. We have Indianapolis, Indiana in the building. We have Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the building. We have Richmond, California in the building. Of course, we have Chicago, Illinois in the building. We have Detroit, Michigan in the building. Decatur is in the building. And I had to rush to come back to update the information that I gave out yesterday. So yesterday, I came over and I told you about the situation with the Diddy Cassie footage. And I told everyone that that TMZ had information that CNN had destroyed the footage of the Cassie and Diddy debacle. Well, there's been an update. CNN contacted TMZ and let TMZ know that they did not destroy the footage. This is what they said. CNN never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy of the footage, which was retained by the source. CNN aired the story about the video several months before Combs was arrested. So CNN is saying that the source kept the original file. And they only received a copy of the copy because I'm assuming that the source was probably some security guard that copied it, right? And then gave them a copy of the copy. Okay? So then Diddy's defense team says our written and oral communication with CNN's counsel were clear. They destroyed the original video file they received from the source. Okay? So not the original, but the original that they received from the source. And actually, while I was actually watching TMZ getting this information to relate to you all, they were contacted by the prosecution. And the prosecution has now stated that they have the copy, right, and the recording of the original footage from either the source or the hotel. That's not clear which original footage. So it's not clear if they mean the original footage from the source or the original footage from the hotel. But they made it clear that they have the footage from CNN. And yeah. And they also have the footage from the source or the hotel. So it's not clear which one. Hold on a second. It's not clear what's going on with that. But for sure, they have footage. Okay? For sure. He said, I know damn well his defense is not trying to say the video footage is fake. No, his defense this is what's going on, Wise. The footage that we all seen would not be admissible in court necessarily because it has been altered. So it has been chopped up and it's not the full footage. So the problem they're having is if the only footage they got is the footage we seen, it's a high possibility that footage will not be admissible in the court of law because it has been edited. And so it's only valuable for public opinion for us to see and see what happened, but he's not being charged. Here's the problem, Wise. Diddy is not being charged for what he did to her in the hallway. That's a state case, and that's beyond the statute of limitations. If it was a state case, just to prove what he did to her, yes. But this is a case bigger than that. And they have to, they want the footage to try to prove that she was escaping a freak off. And by it being chopped up, they can't prove that because they have to show the jury the full footage. You see, once you go to court, what works in the streets and what works on social media, that don't work in court. And if I'm the defense and you come in there with a chopped up video, that's a problem. You see why? It's because what a lot of, and you young people listen to me, in the court of law, the prosecution has to prove their case beyond any reasonable doubt. And so no matter how guilty you are, if your lawyer can pick apart a couple little spots that's kind of like this, they gotta let you go. They gotta let you go. So that's why if you ever get in trouble, get a case, keep your mouth closed, because anything said can and will be held against you in the court of law. But always remember, you could beat your case because it has to be beyond any reasonable doubt. So if your defense team can create any type of doubt, you're going to walk. You're supposed to, if the jury do what they're supposed to do. Right? Has to be beyond any reasonable doubt. Can't be no assumptions or anything like that. And so in the court of law, you have to present the full footage. Both the prosecution and the defense will have to get the full footage unedited. In other words, let's say there's 5 hours of footage before they come out the room. You got to have all of that. You've got to have that whole recording. You can't chop nothing. And so if I'm the defense and you bring that in there, I'm going to want to know, okay, let me see some footage when they got to the hotel. Let me see the footage of who all went to the room. If you ain't got all that, then this footage is trash. Because you only showing, you can't show everything that happened. If it's me and I'm in a hotel and they catch me coming out the hotel and doing something to a woman, the prosecution gonna want the footage of me when I checked in. They gonna want the footage when I went to my room. They gonna want the footage every time I left my room. They gonna want the footage of anybody that visited my room. They gonna want all of the footage concerning what I'm doing. Okay, let's get some people over here that can stay on subject. Okay. When you're ready to stay on subject, come back. All right. So this is where they at right now. And I got to cover this stuff because I'm definitely going to cover the trial because it's going to be probably the biggest trial since OJ. And now everybody's trying to wait to court. You probably won't know till they go to court again. Which footage do they have? Do they have the original copy from the source? Or do they have the original from the hotel? No, the trial hasn't started. The trial's not going to start for a minute, like sometime this summer, I think. But it's getting ready to, and that's why the prosecution and the defense is playing chess. Because everything has to be submitted to the defense. So right now the defense is going to court requesting all the evidence gathered against their client because they can't defend them without the evidence. So I would assume right now Diddy's defense trying to get them tapes, trying to see exactly what the prosecution got. That's what I would assume. Because nobody really knows which copy. The source, did the source take the whole original copy? Or did the source make a copy of the hotel's original copy? Does the prosecution have the original copy from the source or the original copy from the Intercontinental Hotel? Did they get that? Nobody knows. If they got the copy from the source, did the source get the full information from the Intercontinental Hotel? All this is going to make a difference. Or did the source just clip a part? Last time I talked about this, I said I would never believe that the Intercontinental Hotel got rid of any of their footage because that's security and they would keep that forever for legal purposes. And so that particular Intercontinental Hotel is no longer that. It's a different hotel. They have a brand new one, like a high rise. But it's a high possibility that the prosecution got the footage from the Intercontinental Hotel. Because I can't see them ever getting rid of any footage. They have plenty of room to store that footage. And they can even shrink the file for the footage. And anytime they can open that file, which it'll expand, and then they can copy it. So you have the ability now to make a file and make it smaller so you can save lots and lots of files. Plus, I would imagine a big time hotel like that, one of the biggest in LA, Intercontinental. I mean, this is a world class hotel. People have traveled from all over the world. That's why it's Intercontinental. And so I would imagine that they have that footage. I would also imagine that there's going to probably be a case for whoever took it. Whatever, if a guard or somebody copied that and they find out who that is, they probably going to prison. They'll probably go to prison depending on the statute of limitation. Yeah, Asiatic. They don't delete or discard any info. That's what I was thinking when I said it. When I was talking about it, I said, wait a minute. What you mean the original is gone? Well, their confusion was the original. They wasn't clear which original they're talking about, the original from the hotel or the original from the source. Because the source gave information to CNN. So there was a miscommunication saying that the source gave CNN that was the original footage, but that's not the original footage. So CNN got a copy of a copy because the hotel has the original footage. So the source, so this is why they use their words wisely. CNN never altered the video, did not destroy the original copy of the footage, which could mean we didn't never have the original copy of the footage. We had a copy of the copy from the source. He said, but then they made a mistake because they said original copy of the footage, which was retained by the source. No, they should have said the copy of the footage. We never received a copy of the footage retained by the source because the source does not have the original copy. The source got a copy. So that was a misstatement. Okay, right there. When they said that, when they said they did not destroy the original copy of the footage. Okay, they said it right. They said, I think, yeah, they did call, they said it right. They said CNN never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy. But that's confusing. I don't know if they mean the original copy that they got or, yeah, they mean the original copy they got. So they did say it wrong. Original copy. Okay, no, they said it right because they called it the original copy. Okay, they did say it right. They said we never altered the video and did not destroy the original copy of the footage, meaning that's their original copy. So I kind of get what they're saying. When they say the original copy, they mean that would be their original copy. Because okay, they say they did not destroy the original copy of the footage, which was retained by the source. So that does make sense, making it saying that the source got the original copy. So they did say it right. So they're saying the source has the original copy of the footage, and we did not destroy the original copy. So they did say it right because the source has the original copy. And CNN said we did not destroy the original copy, which was retained by the source, which is tricky, which means they did destroy the copy of the copy. You know what I'm saying? That was slick. The CNN, but they did destroy the copy of the copy. That was slick the way they said that. They did destroy the copy of the copy, but they said, hey, we did not destroy the original copy because that was retained by the source. I get it. Which is fine because CNN can say what we had ain't admissible in court anyway, which would be true. What CNN had is not admissible in court. And what the source had is not admissible in court unless the source has all the footage, which that's what everybody's waiting to see. What does the source have? And the prosecution is trying to find out where, the defense is going to have to try to find out where did the prosecution recently get footage from? Did they get it from the source or did they go right to the Continental Hotel? Because if the prosecution got that footage directly from the Continental Hotel, Diddy's in a lot of trouble. The only way if I'm the defense that I could work around there is if they got If the prosecution got the footage from the source, I got something to work with. Because like I say, he took his phone, he copied it, this not all the footage. But if the prosecution got the original footage from the Continental Hotel, oh man. Diddy is in a lot of trouble if they got that original footage from the Continental Hotel, which is what I was saying yesterday. Because if they have the original footage from the Continental Hotel and they got other people walking up and down that hallway going to that room, them people got a case too. Because then they'll be able to prove it was a freak off. And that's what they want to prove. And then if, let's say, I was walking down that hall going to that room, I'm going to get the call from the prosecution. Come on in, Pharaoh, have a seat. Now we could do this the hard way, the easy way. We could send you to prison too. Or you could testify. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be in that hallway. And then if I'm famous, even if they don't prosecute me, they could ruin my career because all they got to do is show me up and down that hallway. And then all my dirty laundry going to come out. No, CNN is implying that they got their version was from the source, their version was retained by the source, but they not saying who the source was. So CNN is not saying if their source was a hotel or a person that took it. And this is where the speculation come in, because we can't assume that first footage that CNN aired, because they the ones aired it, we can't assume that they got that from a security guard. They might have got that directly from the Continental Hotel. That's why it's chopped up, because the Continental Hotel did not want to give them everything, just the meat of the story. So see, this is the mystery. Who did CNN get? When CNN say from the source, who is the source? Is there two sources? Is it a source they got from, and then is the hotel another source? Or did they get it directly from the hotel? If CNN asked, you say you wonder if CNN allegedly asked for the original. Here goes the thing, tough woman. CNN would not be able to do nothing with the original, because if the hotel has the original, it could easily be 24 hours of footage. So it could just be hours and hours and hours of an empty hallway. Because I think those recorders start a new footage every 24 hours. You understand? You understand what I'm saying? So nobody knows who the original source is. But Hawkeye, if I had to bet, and you ask me, Pharaoh, who did CNN get the information from? No, I would say the hotel. I would say the hotel. Yeah, I would say the hotel. I can't see no guard. I can't see no guard going to CNN with no footage they stole from the hotel. So I can't see that. And I'm going to be covering it. And we're going to have a lot of people like Byron. You just have to ignore them. And those of us that want to talk about this from a professional point of view and from just strictly dealing with the court case we deal with that, you're going to have fans. And they're not here for the information. They for something else. So we ain't going to be able to stop that. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times, I'll just make him come back another day because I don't want him to ruin everybody else's experience with the nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes people, they come in the chat and they ruin everybody else's experience. You know what I'm saying? Not able to really have an intellectual conversation about the subject matter. But it's getting interesting. It's getting interesting. They did say that he paid $50K for the footage. But here's the problem. If you pay $50K for the footage, you can only pay the security. You can't. The hotel's not going to do it. So you're going to find out who was on security that night. Say it's me. You're going to say, I need that footage that night. I'm going to go. I'm going to go run the footage back. I'm going to take my phone. I'm going to take some device and I'm going to record it. And I'm going to sell it to Diddy like a sucker. But he not going to get the only footage. I'm going to make 10 copies. And I'm going to take his $50K. But Diddy can't pay him to get rid of the footage because he can't get rid of the footage. There's no erase button for a security guard. They can look at it, but they cannot delete it because the hotel's not going to give them the authority to delete. It's only going to be the authority to see, and there's not going to be no access to whatever machine got that. You're going to have to record it off the screen. So Diddy made a big mistake by doing that because he should know you were never going to get that footage. You are never going to get that footage. If you go to the hotel and tell the hotel to give it to you, the hotel going to look at it first. And when the hotel say that, why would they give you $50K? Why would they give you $50K for doing that in a hotel, making a hotel look bad? They're not giving you that. The CEO of the hotel ain't even at that hotel. How many intercontinentals are there in the world? So you can't go see the big man because he not there. You can't, if I do something in the Holiday Inn, I can't talk to the CEO of all the Holiday Inns, and that's who control all that. So he got to go to the guard that night, and that just show you Diddy was off his square. Because you don't want no copy, you want it deleted. If they give you a copy, that means they still got it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what make him think that if he got a copy, I don't know what make him think that if he got a copy, it's gone. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. That's to see he was off his square. He was getting high on his own supply. Because common sense would have told him, ain't no getting that back. It got to get deleted, but they can't delete it. They can't delete that. Security guard can't delete that. He's just a hired hand. He's not the head of security. He's just the security at that hotel. They have another security firm, and they got it. Their security firm got all the footage from all their hotels all over the world. So I don't know what the hell he's thinking. I don't know what he was thinking about. You ain't getting that footage back. You can get that footage back from a small motel. You can get it back from a small motel, but the Intercontinental or somebody like that, Waldorf, bruh, you done. You're not getting no footage back from the Waldorf or none of these big hotels like that. You ain't, bro. That footage is in the web. It's on the World Wide Web. You know what I'm saying? Why you think they call it the World Wide Web? Bro, that footage is in the web. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're on YouTube, you can delete your footage, but YouTube got that footage. YouTube got every footage that ever played over here. You just delete it off of you just delete it. When I delete videos, I just delete it off of my channel. I have not deleted it from YouTube. They got it. Trust me, they got it. These companies spend lots of money on storage, on storing files. Their whole business is based on storing files, storing receipts, all economic transactions, all video footage. They don't delete that stuff. They've made servers that can handle that. They've upgraded the servers. Who used to be on MySpace? Remember MySpace, the server kept going down? They didn't been fixed that problem. You know what I'm saying? It's in the archive. And Diddy's problem is it's really one word that's Diddy's problem. And it's the first word to his prosecution. Federal prosecutors. With the emphasis on federal. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think, this ain't, bro, this is federal prosecution, bro. This is not state prosecution. This is the federal government that has all the power of the United States. All of it. It's the feds, bro. You got a big federal case, like you Al Capone or somebody. He was doing too much. This ain't no state case. This the feds. And what's the feds conviction rate? 97%? This ain't Lil Woody. That was state. If Lil Woody, if Young Thug was in the feds, he'd be locked up already. The feds do not file no case until they got you. If he beat this case, he gonna be like the 3%. He's gonna be in a three with only a small 3% that was able to do that. Because 97%, 98%, you ain't beating the feds. Because the feds don't come. The feds, the state will grab you, have a little information, grab you, right? The state will have a little information, grab you, and while they grab you, keep trying to build a case. The feds won't. By the time the feds come get you, you got it. So yeah, by the time the feds went and got him, they had all the tapes. That's why they sent Homeland Security. Okay. And when they send Homeland Security and you got some type of security system and stuff, and you try to delete it, you got your little, he got his little cameras and he knew they was coming and he went to his little security stuff and deleted it. That did not delete that stuff, bro. That did not, it's not, it's just deleted. You think it's deleted. It's in there. It's in there. And they got the people can go into your contraption and pull it out. A lot of people don't know that. That stuff almost really never really gets totally deleted. It's just you can't retrieve your files until you go to the proper sources that got the right technology to retrieve it. And everybody don't have that technology. That technology is not made available to everybody. So if you got a hard drive, people in the music business know what I'm talking about. You got a hard drive, they might charge you $3,000, $4,000 to try to retrieve your stuff and then tell you we couldn't get it. But if the feds go in that hard drive, I bet you they'll get it. Because the guy you go to, he ain't got the equipment the feds got. You don't get to buy that equipment. You know what I'm saying? You understand? The 3% that beat the feds is the ones 1.5% of those that cut a deal mid-trial to tell on everybody, so they just go through with a mock trial. So you look like you're losing and you have your attorney go tell the federal prosecutor, listen, Pharaoh know who did this. And they say, why you didn't tell us that earlier? Hey, well, we tried to see if we can beat it. It ain't looking that good. But if it's some kind of way he can walk, he willing to come tell you everything. They say, well, let him come tell us everything first. And he's a big fish, but if he can get the whale, okay. We'll talk to Janet. She's going to be hurt because she really wants to slam your client. And she's got to take this loss on her file. So, this got to be good like that. The other 1.5 had somebody that was working for the feds, but they wasn't as competent as they were supposed to be. And they got fired. They got fired. The other 1.5, because the feds hire you, but they can't test you until you get in the ring. You got to get in the boxing ring. You got to get out there in the wrestling ring. You got to get on the football field so they can see if you can win the game. And in some cases, the feds have prosecutors that, wasn't all the way up to par. And that's why the feds are so hard to beat, because every case they lost, they went and cleaned whatever the problem was up. So you coming after they done took a few L's. They're not trying to take no more. They done fixed that. They're not hiring prosecutors like the ones they lost. You're not getting that prosecutor. They fired that kind. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They don't really the feds never put themselves in a situation where it's a win or lose. The state put themselves in a situation where it's a win or lose, where they get you in there as looking like you're doing something and stuff. But the feds don't do that. The feds don't really do win or lose. They basically just come in and throw you in jail and just going through the process. So when you get a Fed case, they just going through the process. And Diddy's just a cash cow right now, so the prosecutors and them can make some money. He's just going through the motions. But for a Fed case like this, he going to prison. He going to prison. No ifs, ands, and buts, because what the fans don't want to realize is, and what you realize in the streets is, Diddy was sloppy. Diddy was sloppy. Diddy was drinking too much. Diddy was using his own substances. He was, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't get away with nothing. He was partaking in the same stuff he was giving everybody else. Diddy was suffering from substance abuse. You could see it. Diddy, he's not gonna beat that case because he got high on his own supply. He's not gonna beat that case. He gone. He was gone. Who remembers when? Do y'all know about Burning Man? You know what Burning Man is? Burning Man is when a lot of people be out there using all type of stuff, tripping. Diddy been gone way back here. What you think he look at him? What you think he was out there doing in Burning Man? If you know what the Burning Man is. Burning Man is when they go out there and they get wasted out their mind. Who remember he was running around with that pink umbrella looking crazy? At Burning Man, they do all that stuff that he was doing. It's just done with your own consent. But it's also a lot of witchcraft going on out there and occultism, right? So he was already gone. Way back then. He said the feds called charging him a RICO. How can it be a RICO and no one else is charged? A whole bunch of people charged. A whole bunch of people going to prison. When they charge you with a RICO, they ain't got to prosecute all y'all at the same time either. And I could be doing racketeering by myself. If I'm a pimp, right, by myself, and I'm flying sex workers in, That's a RICO. And most people think a RICO mean a lot of people. No, a RICO mean racketeering. And in some cases, you racketeer with other people, but you could be racketeering. You could just be racketeering yourself. And then the other people, but people be like, well, some people help you. Yeah, but they turn state's evidence. Like they did John Gotti. See, Sammy the Bull was supposed to go with him, but Sammy the Bull went and testified against him. So it definitely was a RICO, including Sammy. But if you willing to testify, then they just get the leader. So the fact he the only one in there Asiatic is bad for him because that means a bunch of people snitching. That everybody else not gonna do their time. They finna tell on him. That's what that means. Because everybody know his main man that flew the girl in, right? Hold on. Let me show y'all the pictures. Everybody know. Y'all know about this story right here? Hold on. Y'all know about the story where they met the young girl? Y'all know about this story? And what's his name? Pierre, right? All right, then Pierre snitching. Remember? Y'all remember that story? Where his boy, I think Pierre is his name, met this young girl at some other state and called Diddy, say he got the girl and flew the girl all the way to New York. That's racketeering. Why you think Pierre ain't on the case? He's snitching. And then look, this an underage girl that you then flew across state lines and you took a picture with her on your lap. That means he was beginning to use already. He was using. You got to be high to do. You got to be high. Remember Biggie rapping about X? What Biggie know about X? Remember he said, when it comes to sex, the X makes sex spectacular. What Biggie know about that? What was up with Jodeci? What was up with Aaron Hall? What was up with R. Kelly? What's the secret that nobody telling you was up? They was all abusing substances. That's why they get sloppy. That's why when you're in the game, you don't get high on your own supply. You have to be sober. You have to be sober. If you're a boss and you get money, you cannot get drunk. You cannot get high. If they want to give me a big record deal, and the head of the record label just want to see me personally because he want to get me on the label, and he invite me in his office, there's going to be a bottle of real expensive liquor in there. And for this occasion, he going to take out 2 glasses and he going to pour me and him some of that liquor. And look at how much liquor been out that bottle, hardly none. Because once we take this little toast, he not drinking none of that no more. That's just a dick, that's it. Dude not going to sit there and drink no whole bottle of liquor. He the CEO of Epic or the CEO of Warner Brothers. Bro, not drinking that. Like, he not drinking that. That's why it's sitting on the desk like that. That's why it costs $5,000 for a bottle. You think that's only for special occasions, just a tip. Look at his face. If you're in the streets, he high. Bro, you got a minor on your lap and you took a picture. Sloppy. Y'all seen Scarface? How Scarface went down? He got sloppy. You said somebody attorney told you that the reason the state jumps on cases quick because they want the people of the state and community citizens to feel like they're urgently bringing justice. Nah, they jump on the case because it's a business. They make money. You got a big ass courthouse. You got to fill it. You got security. You got the state police at the courthouse. You got stenographers. You got secretaries for the judges. You got public defendants. You got to make some arrests. You got to make some arrests to feed the county. That's the county's money. Okay, that be the state and the county money. That don't be the city money. So that be the money from the county and the city. Because mostly you go to the county jail. A lot of these big cities, they don't got no city jail. You don't go to, there's no city of Chicago jail. It's Cook County jail. So it's the city, the county, and the state. So then the county and the state work together. The county makes money helping the state. And the state, all them prosecutors and stuff is the state. This is the state prosecuting you. So they got to make this money. That's why you got to pay a bail. You got to put up a bail. You got to put up a bail. I had to get them 15 racks to get out the county. They wanted 25 racks. They wanted $25,000, $250,000 they wanted. And you got to pay the 10% of that. So they wanted me to pay them $25,000 to go home. That's why I was in the county jail for 4 months. Because they was accusing me of being this like kingpin. But if I say I'm not a kingpin, why would I give you $25,000? Why would I give you $25,000 and I'm saying I ain't doing that? It was a Hispanic dude in there with me, and his wife brought down like $15,000, $20,000, and they arrested her and confiscated the money and said it was drug money. Facts. They'll take your money and say this is gotten by illegal gain. Now you got to not only fight your case, you got to prove where you got the money from. So you got to be sane. You cannot be high. You cannot be drunk. It's a business. It's a business. It's like any other business. And you have to be a businessman or a businesswoman. I was a businessman, allegedly, supposedly. So that's why I stayed in the county jail 4 months. I'm not giving them no $25,000 and saying I'm not a kingpin. I'm not having my wife walk down there with no 25 racks. And I can't divide it up. So I stayed in there. And that's how I beat my case. I stayed in there. They say he ain't no king nothing because he can't even get out of jail. You know? They say he a buster. He probably is innocent. He can't even get out. Every time I went to court, I'm like, I want a bail deduction. They say, no. I want a bail reduction. No. Bail reduction. No. Bail reduction. No. 4 months later, I said, bail reduction. I said, okay, $150,000. Okay, bye. But I didn't have my queen come down there with no $15,000. My wife came. My queen came with $5,000. My mother came with 5,000. My sister came with 5,000. Three $5,000 cashier check from three different people. Because anything over $9,999, they got to contact the IRS. If you get on the plane and you got $10,000 or more, they can call the feds. And so it's a business. They're making money. And they keep a percentage of that bail too. I didn't get the whole 15,000 back. I think we got like 14 something. Then my lawyer get a pinch of that because you paying him, plus he want a percentage of the bail. So I think when all was said and done, I think I got like 12 racks back or something. Something like that. It wasn't no 15 though. That money gone. Bye-bye. Because the lawyers work with him too. It's a whole infrastructure. The prosecutor and defense both making money. The judge making money. Everybody making money. When you go to court, when you drive up, you park. You walk in the courthouse. Who at the front door? The state police. I mean the county sheriffs. There, patting everybody down. So when you walk in there, everybody's at work. So when Diddy go to court, everybody will be at work. His lawyer be at work, prosecution be at work, the judge, the stenographer, everybody's going to be at work. The jury getting paid to be there. Everybody's at work. And guess who the work is? Diddy is the work. When I went to court, I was the work. I was the work. And they at work, and I'm the work. I'm the only one there that ain't making no money. Everybody else is making money off of my case. Everybody. Every time I got to go see my lawyer, I got to have $500 at least. And then he looking funny. This is all you got? Bro, I just gave you I gave you a big down payment. I'm giving you 500. I'm going to have to come here 1 billion times. Stop playing with me. My lawyer drive up, walk in there, talk for 2 minutes, $500. They all know each other if you get the big lawyer. So Diddy is the work right now. So they making money. They making money off of him. Everybody gonna make money. And the Young Thug case, they had somebody filming, right? And you had to go to their YouTube and watch the court case. And how much money was they making from YouTube with their views and monetizing? So they monetized Young Thug case, which I think is a conflict of interest. But hey, welcome to Babylon. And they probably gonna monetize Diddy case. It's probably gonna be on TV. They're gonna make a fortune off his ass. Because if it be on TV, it's gonna be bought to you by Dove soap. It's gonna be bought every commercial. You know what I'm saying? They paying. So they're gonna make a lot of money off him. But he was sloppy. He was sloppy. He wasn't no cool brother. He was nasty. He not respected with those of us in the music industry don't like him. Diddy not no hero for no black people or nothing like that. Diddy is a scumbag. Always have been. He robbed Biggie. He robbed the Locks. He robbed everybody. 112. He robbed everybody. And he made all the money and nobody else didn't make nothing. He's a scumbag. Always has been. He's what when black people, we trying to get in the music industry, he got in the music industry and did to us the same thing the Europeans did to us. We want brothers to get in there and sisters to get in there and treat us right. He went in there and did the same thing. Come on, I gave them the same contract everybody else been giving out. Bro, that's not what you were supposed to do. The biggest record on his label was the record he made off of Biggie's death, and he took Biggie out there. A lot of people feel like he set Biggie up because him and Biggie had a big argument before that. Because he wanted Biggie publishing, and he was mad because Biggie had figured a way to not give Puff all his publishing. Biggie was trying to take Puff trying to take all Biggie publishing, all of it. That's why Gene Deal hate him. Gene seen it all. He take you out there, you get killed night tomorrow. I'll be missing you. And God don't like ugly. And then the dude that made the original song robbed him the same way he robbed everybody else. He robbed everybody. Got mad at Biggie because Biggie was helping Lil' Kim and them keep their publishing and shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, cameras not allowed in federal courts. Yeah, so that ain't going to be, yeah, okay. Because, yeah, OJ stuff was state. You're right. You're right, Moses. So, yeah, we ain't going to get to see it. Yeah, Biggie found a way not to depend on Diddy. But he went out there on a bad leg, and he went out there, let him take him to Cali out there. Shouldn't have let him, you know what I'm saying? Biggie should have never went out there to Cali, man. You know what I'm saying? Bro, you beefing with Tupac. Tupac lived in Oakland and up in the Bay Area, and Tupac lived in L.A. California love. Bruh, see, Diddy, man, ain't no good. Why would I take my artist to Cali? And Pac just got killed. They had cameras for Young Thug case. That was federal, was it? Because that's a state case, I would think. Yeah, you're going to have to come in and make sketches. He right. No, Dolph case wasn't federal based on what? That ain't no federal case. Because you can get federal charges, right? So, okay, listen, it's the difference between a federal case and a felony. So just because you get a felony, right? So that was a felony, but that don't make it a federal case. Okay? So young Dolph case, that was a felony, but that wasn't federal. Biggie was sleeping on that beef, but see what he got to understand is if I'm beefing with you, and now Tupac not there, but the state, you know, they gonna hate you. But then he got set up, you know what I'm saying? Because here go the thing. Allegedly, Diddy, okay, this is allegedly. A lot of people say this is fact, so I'm gonna just say allegedly. They start beefing. First off, they start beefing because Pac in the room with the girls, Biggie and them in there. They do this crazy stuff with the girl. They all run out the room and leave the gun. Biggie leave the gun in Pac's room. So now Pac catch the case. Then Pac gets set up and shot in New York, right? And everybody there, I think Steve, I know for sure Diddy was up there and all that, right? Right? So a bunch of New York dudes set Pac up, he gets shot up. And he got the case with New York dudes and stuff. Biggie left his gun in the room, see? All right? Because you got to understand, you can't trust Biggie Smalls. He was a snake. You know what I'm saying? Right? So they start beefing. Suge Knight of blood, so he got a whole lot of bloods a part of his security and shit. So Diddy come out there and he hire the Crips, right? That's what's going on with that case right now with dude in jail, right? Right now. Because he started working security with Diddy. Okay? So now Diddy goes hires the Crips. Then they allegedly put a price on a death row chain, which led to the chain incident at the mall. Right? So now Diddy promising the Crips all his money, and Suge and them got the Bloods back in them. So now, but when Pac get killed, Diddy say to the Crips, didn't pay him. That's what on Biggie album, you see on the album where he got somebody calling him, threatening him, that's supposedly the Crips. Because once they didn't need the Crips no more, Diddy didn't take care of them. Right? So Diddy didn't take care of the Crips. Now, in these cities, when these gangs be beefing, the leaders all know each other. They be a little cordial. They don't be what the shorties is on. So let's say this Chicago. And let's say you beefing with, let's say a rapper in Chicago got the GDs backing him. And you go get BD back you or Blackstone. And then let's say something happened. Well, this man over here on this side is gone. So you don't need the security. So you backstab the BDs. But when you backstab the BDs, they're not going to take it like that. So when Diddy backstabbed the Crips, because it's the Crips with Suge and them, and the Crips helping Diddy and the Bloods helping Suge. But when you got them going back and forth, and then when Diddy backstabbed the Crips, now it's going to go to the next gang, and now it ain't going to be the Crips with Death Row. The Crips with Bad Boy and the Bloods with Death Row. Now it's going to be New York. This New York nigga backstabbing some Cali dudes. So now the dudes in Cali from the Crips and the Bloods, they going to unite. Because now they're going to look at you on some New York shit. That's how you got that's how the East Coast was. That's what that's all about. So now they're going to look at Puff. So they'll work together to get you now. You can't come to Cali, period. The perfect example, look at King Von. We got all these different gangs here. But most of these different gangs, if dude in them that was associated with that King Von, they cannot get caught in Chicago by no gang. Maybe a few GDs might give them a pass. But everybody, because now some Chicago stuff. That thing with King Von could have went left. Because my phone was ringing and people wanted to drive down there and they just wanted to do the whole city. They just wanted to do Atlanta and they wanted to do Georgia. They wanted to do Savannah. They wanted to do wherever they from. They want to do New Orleans. I'm just telling you, I know. They want to do y'all down there. It wasn't going to be, you wasn't going to win. You was going to lose. You was going to lose. Because we can come that way and do whatever and leave, but you can't come up here. You know what I'm saying? I'll just tell you, your arm's too short to box with the gods. And so that's what happened. So they knew he was getting threats. They knew Diddy was getting threats for not paying them. I ain't going to say no, I could say names of the bosses that was there at the time. Okay? And so that's why many people believe with that beef between Diddy and Biggie, a lot of people believe Diddy brought him out here to be assassinated. Because Diddy a snake. Diddy didn't care nothing about Biggie. He was pimping Biggie. Diddy didn't care nothing about Biggie. Because if you cared about him, why would you bring him? Why would you bring him out here and take him to radio stations, dissing Pac and Cali? And then take him all this shit with this weak security. You ain't got hardly no security. And you got him down there and his leg broke and he can't barely walk. Why would you take him out here? Then he get killed. Now you every step I take, you getting paid off of the man. He didn't miss a beat. He became the big star. He didn't care nothing about Biggie. If Biggie wasn't gonna get that Lil' Kim, get everybody's stuff, he wasn't gonna do that. He a snake. Fat Joe a snake. It just came out. All them lies Fat Joe was saying. They tried to do all that for Pun's wife. He didn't do none of that. It was all a lie. Didn't give her a quarter. There's no economic record showed that Fat Joe gave her nothing. Snaked him. Snake Pun. Fat Joe did Pun just like Diddy did Biggie. Snaked him. And that's what you reap, what you sow, it be real. So that's why Diddy in this situation, because he kept snaking everybody. And then he started using substance abuse to deal with his evilness, his crookedness. He got all his body, now he ruined. Ain't nobody gonna stand up for him because he did everybody dirty. Nobody, look at Mace. Mace wrote all that shit. Look how they did 50. 50 wrote all that shit. A lot of people don't know 50 was out there writing everybody's stuff. Look how they did it. Mace was writing all that stuff. Mace was the superstar bad boy. Bad boy wasn't none without Mace. That's a fact. Mace pen game crazy. Mace and 50 is some of the best writers in hip hop. Nobody don't even know it. And people are just scumbags in the business. Diddy just a no good dude. He just ain't no good. Heavy D gets sick. Everybody gets sick. And one brother, the other brother almost died. Now he raising that dude's son. And it's just all kind of crazy stuff. You know, he just wasn't no good. He wasn't no good. He's like a snake. That dude wasn't no good. He wasn't no good. It's so many people want to see him go to prison forever. Because he just ain't no good dude. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no good dude. You know what I mean? He ain't never been no good dude. Never. He the reason we lost Biggie and Pop. It's all going to come out. It's all going to come out. Keefy D going to tell everything. Keefy D finna tell it all. That whole thing was a lie. Suge know it. Keefy D knew it. That's why Suge been throwing signals like free Keefy D. Why you think he said free Keefy D? Because he know Keefy D didn't do it. The police, the Vegas police and all of them was in on that hit. That was a hit. Y'all go look up Von Zip and just look it up. I ain't finna be on here. I ain't doing the police stuff. I'm just telling y'all the background so you can understand what's going on with Diddy. Diddy is really is an evil dude, man. Talented, but he just was evil, man. He just an evil dude, man. He ain't no good dude. He really not. Like Diddy is an evil gangster. Like he's not no nice Diddy nothing. He learned how to hide it. But Diddy Daddy was a gangster, telling you, and was a snake. That's how he got unalive. He was a snake just like his son. And you know what his mama used to do? That's why she got cases now. You know what I'm saying? I can't, he born in it, so I do understand that. He born in scumbagism. You know what I'm saying? Look at Clive Davis. That was his mentor. Right? Maybe I'm telling y'all too much. Let me show you something. Maybe I'm telling y'all too much, but it's all good. Y'all need to know. Hold on, watch this. Because they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. Watch this. He came in the game around some stuff. You know what I mean? What women was signed to Clive Davis? Whitney Houston. Oh, gone. Phyllis Hyman. Oh, gone. Aaliyah. Oh, gone. I'm not saying he did it, but I ain't saying he didn't. Now you're trying to play that old man role like he don't know what's going on. Now this who brought Diddy into the game. Ruthless. Ruthless. When Whitney tragically passed away, that was all in the same hotel. Clive was having a party. He never stopped a party. When the word got out that she was unalive, he kept partying. Nobody never said, she in the same hotel with you to come to the party. Nobody questioned. Clive Davis, he said Clive Davis is a queen. Clive Davis is a cold-blooded gangster. You see, let me explain something. I ain't never been to prison, but for the young brothers watching me, let me tell you something. See, when y'all be seeing people be doing like LGBTQ activities, men, y'all take that as soft. But it's too kind. And if you ever go to the penitentiary, you're going to see what I'm talking about. So you're going to run into people with that type of activity, and there ain't nothing soft about them. Hardcore gangster killers. And they with that. I'm just saying, so it ain't like what you think. Like it ain't necessarily soft activity. You understand what I'm trying to say? It ain't got nothing to do with being no gangster or being no hardcore. Hardcore. It's two different types. So you don't go to prison because you're gonna go in there and dude's gonna be super masculine. He's gonna take you to the gym and help you work out and get you good and tired. And when you get back to the cell, you got a hell of a awakening coming. So just because all them allegations on Clive ain't got nothing to do with his gangster, You know what I'm saying? Now the feds know everything I'm saying. They want Diddy gone. I don't believe he gonna beat this. He going to prison. He going bye-bye. He going bye-bye. Diddy is finished. Because he was sloppy. He was sloppy. You know what I'm saying? And he bit the hand that fed him. You know what I'm saying? He was sloppy. And it's like when you sloppy like that, you know, you need protection. You just can't be out here willy-nilly like that. You know, they'll sit on information about you. They'll sit on it. And that's what they did to him. They sat on it. But he, you know what I'm saying? When you know you out here bogus, first you got to get off of, you got to get off of them substances. Second is, if you out here bogus, you can't go and poke the bear. You can't go out here talking crazy to these gangsters like what he did. And any protection he would have been able to have when he went and talked crazy to the liquor company, man, bro, it's over for you. It's over. It's over for you. He'll be lucky to make it to court. Man, he'll be lucky to make it to court. Seriously. He didn't know who he was playing with. And he's stupid. He wasn't really, thinking like that. You know what I'm saying? He did that liquor company bogus. He was out of line. He was foul. He did them wrong. Like he did them wrong. He was bogus. He was bogus. He did them wrong. They told him the actual facts, and he didn't want to listen. You know what I'm saying? When you want to do business with the people at the top, and they nice enough to do business with you, take their advice. They're not going to take, if they can make more money, they're going to make it. They're not going to give you no bad advice, bro. You understand? That's cute. Look. Somebody playing on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They don't move like that. I'm going to leave it up there. It's cute. But if I was you, I'd take it down because they're going to come see you for impersonating the federal government. You're going to go to prison for that, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can go to prison. You know what I'm saying? He going to go to prison doing that. You know what I'm saying? He going to go to prison doing that. You can't, boy. You got more courage than me. I'm going to leave it up there since you want to play games. I'm going to leave it up there. We're going to see how that work out for you. See people be playing. But the liquor company told Diddy the truth. He told Diddy that we can't sell your liquor in these white areas. Let's just keep it like it is. Now, he was making a lot of liquor. He was making a lot of money. He thought they was trying to hold him back, but they told him the truth. They're not going to buy his liquor in certain areas because he attached his face to it. And a lot of areas is still kind of like prejudice. So once he attached his face to the liquor, he pretty much was marketing the minority communities, Hispanics and blacks. I mean, that's how we marketed you. That's why we had watermelon flavored Ciroc. So why are you trying to go in European markets where it's not going to sell? So then he going to go and make all this noise against him and just say, well, I'll just take the money I'm getting, because they told him the truth. They told him the truth. They didn't tell him that. They wasn't trying to stop no money they could have made. But Diddy was all on substance and was all beside himself, and he was still taking care of business, but he wasn't able to focus. He didn't have nobody. He was the big man. He didn't have no advisors. You have to have advisors. You understand? He didn't have no advisors. And you can, if you think I'm lying, go right now and take your phone and go in the black neighborhood and go to the liquor store and turn on your camera and film the setup. Film what type of liquor. Film what's in the front. Film what's behind the thing. And then go to a white neighborhood and take your camera and film. And the first thing you're going to see is a whole lot of more beer and wine in the white neighborhood. You ain't going to see a whole bunch of Hennessy and stuff like that. You're going to see other liquor, Jim Beam and stuff like that. The liquor store's not even set up the same in the white community and in the black community. Black folks ain't buying a lot of wine. We buying a lot of fruity drinks, peach, stuff like that, lemon lime, cherry, watermelon. They're not going to be able to sell. They're not going to even order no Ciroc. They're not going to order that. Nothing he had in the white community. They're not going to buy that, bro. That don't mean they all prejudiced and stuff, but they got friends that's prejudiced. So they don't want to have this in their house, and one of their friends that's a little, racist come and see that, why you got this in juice in the house and all that. So they wasn't gonna buy that. They're not gonna buy that, bro. You Diddy, they're not gonna buy your stuff. It's a step down for them. It's not considered prestigious. It's considered hip hop. You know what I'm saying? They told him the truth. He went all blasting them and all that. Them people can push buttons. Oh, okay, you want to play? Hey, Jim, because they work with the feds and everything, because they got to ship, import, and export liquor. The first gangsters that get in bed with the feds and they make a deal is the liquor. Al Capone, Bugsman, all of them, they was in the liquor. And they fought the feds and liquor went legal. Prohibition was abolished. And the gangsters was able to get into legal business. And he went and started beefing with them gangsters. So he ain't got no protection. They been sending people to your party. Because when you work with big people like that, they get a file on you, just in case you get out of line. He don't think them people was at them party documenting everything he was doing? Just in case. Just in case you get out of line. Which he got out of line. All of a sudden, he going at the liquor company, bam. They bring up everything he did 20 years back. Everybody know. They run everything, but they look for you and look for your discrepancies and look how you carry yourself. And as soon as you carry yourself foul, they want to dump you then. But for the sake of the dollar, they'll let it ride. But they're not finna really go to bed with you like that when you out there doing all this weirdo stuff. They want to be able to have your product, and then if they catch you, say, oh, we ain't know Pharaoh was doing all that. Okay, we're going to dump his product. See what I'm saying? But they know, but they ain't going to let it know they be known, so they're going to keep a distance from me. They're going to sell my products and get the money. But once it's revealed how I'm acting, they're going to dump me. Because when you deal with the gangsters at the top, they don't deal with none of that. They don't deal with Clyde Davis. They don't deal with that. They don't deal with cheating on your wife and all of that. They don't deal with none of that. You have to be a good family man. You have to be good to your wife, good to your children to do business with them. We just seen on Raising Canaan where the mob dude hired the brother of the star to go and handle a young man that married his daughter and is running all over town cheating on his daughter, making the family look bad. Because with them, you marry into the family. So if I'm with them gangsters like that, my wife is in with the gangsters. She's one of the gangsters' daughters. So I cannot cheat on this gangster's daughter. And if I marry somebody that's not that, I got to slowly bring her into the family. That's why they prefer to marry somebody that's already in the circle. But they don't do all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? On the streets with the blacks too, with black, we don't do all that. If I'm hanging out with you and we doing business and you just run around with a bunch of bozo chicks and stuff, I got to cut ties with you. You're sloppy. You ain't going to see no pictures with me. Any woman you see me with pictures with, I was married to them. Now, marriages work and sometimes marriages don't, but you ain't going to see me with Betty and Boopy and Scoopy and Doopy. You ain't going to see that because that's not good business. People that really get money, they're not going to really want to associate with you because you're like a male prostitute or something. You ain't got no integrity. And Diddy didn't show no type of integrity or nothing. He didn't show no maturity. He didn't show no integrity. You know what I'm saying? Very talented. One of the most talented producers ever in the history of music. Super talented. I consider him like one of the most talented executive producers. As far as creativity, he right up there with Quincy Jones and all of them to me. I always hold Diddy in high regards when it comes to his executive producing. It's just off the chain. Because Biggie Smalls, like for him to take Biggie like that and make what he made out, because that ain't Biggie. Biggie wasn't like that. And for Diddy to hear how good he could rap and then say, you can rap real good. You can rap on anything. You can rap. So let me give them some music they're going to like and just rap on it. And Biggie didn't want to do it at first. But when he did it, it went through the roof. Because Puff was smart. He was like, bro, rap on this. You could rap. It's going to still sound gangster. Because you rap like that anyway. You never going to sound ungangster. You don't look ungangster. You look like the streets. You rap like the streets. So he took him and put him on beats that nobody would have put Biggie on that. Nobody would have put Biggie on them beats. Nobody, I don't think. I don't think, and I'm a great producer, I don't think I would have been able to think like that. That was like taught a lot of us producers a lot right there. You know what I'm saying? He one of the best producers ever did it. That's why it's sad too, because it's another great black talent taken down by vices and by his ego and by mistreating his own brothers and sisters. He ain't had to mistreat nobody. He could have made sure everybody got paid. He could have made sure Biggie got paid. He could have made sure that Junior Mafia and them was taken care of. Even though they was under On, he still could have looked out. He could have looked out for On. He could have looked out and did right by people. You say he got jealous of Casamigos. No, we didn't. Everybody was drinking. I don't know what you're talking about. Everybody was drinking Ciroc. People was drinking Ciroc. Okay? You got different levels in the black community. And the up level, Miss February, and the people that really go and party on this level, they drinking Casamigos. The ones that's really just going to picnics and ain't really party like that, ain't really club like that, they drinking Ciroc. And there's more people that don't party than people that party. So the uppity blacks that go to them clubs and stuff, they the minority. The majority is the ones that go to picnics and stuff like that. Ciroc was selling through the roof because black people like fruits. They like fruit. That's why. That's why the blunts is fruit flavored. That's why the liquor's fruit flavored. Once you do the fruit flavors, you can make money because all you got to do is once they get tired of the peach, then you drop the watermelon. Once they tired of the watermelon, then you drop the mango. So you can't lose. The man was making a lot of money with that stuff. He wasn't jealous of no Casamigos. He was trying to go to the next level in the game. I'm telling y'all what was going on. He was thinking they was blocking him. He didn't want to compete with no Casamigos. He wanted to compete with the Hennessy and them. He wanted to compete with the big liquor companies that the Europeans was drinking. He wanted to get into that market. He wanted to break over into that market, which is a good thing, but he didn't start his brand off in a way he could have broken into that market. If he wanted to break in that market, he would have had to think about that first. At first, he didn't think about that. At first, he just wanted to get the money and he marketed black people. But once he marketed black people, you can't go back now and market white people because you already marketed black people. See, none of this liquor is marketed to nobody. It's just liquor. The only liquor here that's marketed to somebody is Ciroc. Ciroc is marketed to black people. This other liquor is just marketed to anybody want to drink. They don't market it for whites, blacks, Hispanics. So he stereotyped his liquor. So then when they didn't send it to certain areas, they was like, we can't sell this over there. It had nothing to do with Casamigos and all that. It had something to do with the whole beef with the liquor company was Diddy felt they was keeping them out of big white markets. And they was like, it's not going to sell over there because you've already stereotyped your liquor. So just keep it where it's at and let's just get you a whole brand for the black community. That's what he should have did. He should have stayed over there and he should have dropped a whole brand for us. And then we could have supported that whole brand. Then we could have got into the distribution, the manufacturing, and then we could have built a whole black liquor conglomerate and just sell to ourselves. We're the 7th richest nation in the world. Instead of trying to market to white Americans, he should have been trying to market to Africans. He should have been trying to market to blacks in the Caribbean. There's more black people in the world than white people. He should have marketed to black people worldwide. Because if he would have went to them and say, listen, I want to market in Africa. They would have been like, I think you own this something. You know what I'm saying? They would have went with it. I want to market to Africa. I want to get some rum. I want to market to the Caribbean. I want to market to Brazil. Brazil got the most black people down there in a country. I want to market Nigeria. You know how many black people in Nigeria and in Brazil? Bam! All he had to do was do that, then go get Africans to be the face of it. Don't you be the face of everything. He could have went, got some Africans about business, get some African models and stuff. Boom. Them fine women in Africa, come on, man, they would have sold that stuff out. And then put a bag in Africa, because Africa can produce the stuff. They got all the natural resources. They got all the fruit stuff you want, bro. You know, that's a whole nother video. But he could have went in Africa and made more money than all of this stuff. Could have produced it cheaper, and he would have made more money than them, wouldn't he? All he got to do is put them on the bag and put them in charge. And then he could have been De Leon, and the Africans could have been Diddy. Then you automatically move up. He didn't know no better. But I believe he wasn't thinking right because he out there trying to do too much. He got a genius mind. He got a businessman mind. But you can't be no businessman and no genius in the daytime and a fool at night, because eventually it's going to bleed over and your nightlife going to bleed into your daylight. So that's why that's not really good. That's a distraction. That's why when you're on some boss status like that, you need a certain wife, because she got to go sit down somewhere. You ain't got no lot of time to be running behind her. You see her when you see her. You need space so you can take care of your business. Because a woman that distracts you if you ain't no boss, you gonna let her be the leader. And she got you, we need to go here, we need to go there, we need to go there, running you around like a lapdog. So when you're in business, you know, sometimes that ain't gonna work. Because you really gotta think, especially when you get to like that type of level, it takes a lot. You want to be a billionaire, it takes a lot. You understand? You can't do all that. It's gonna bleed over. You get what you pay for and you get what you work for. And you have to work extremely hard to get rich. Anybody tell you something any different is crazy. And once you get that break like he got and you get behind the right doors, you got to focus 100% of the time, period. You want to make sure your family's all right, but you need a certain type of woman. You need a certain type of woman that understands what you're doing. You need a woman that also is into generational wealth and stuff like that. So she know that your sacrifices you making, later they're going to be saying, granddaddy did this, and the rest of the family going to be able to move a little bit easier. But somebody got to make the sacrifice for the future generations. Something that black people in America, we ain't learned that yet. Somebody got to make the sacrifice. And it's going to take 2 generations. It's going to take the founder and it's going to take his son or his daughter. They both got to stand on business, or it ain't going to be no business by that 3rd generation. It's going to be gone. That's why Trump got his daughter running the business, because them boys ain't worth nothing. His daughter the one going to keep the family legacy and try to keep the money if daddy don't mess it up. That way you don't see his daughter, because she the foundation of the money for the family. And he trying to get it and put it in her hands. And then she'll take care of the boys and everybody. You know what I'm saying? And the mobsters, y'all seen what dude was in the movie and he ran off and he had got a girlfriend and the mob boss told him to go back home to his wife. And he did. And next thing you know, the helicopters was following his goofy ass. He had started using. Which one was that? That wasn't Casino. That was the other one. Was that Goodfellas? And he was moving up with the gangsters and he started doing just what Diddy was doing. He was running around with this other weirdo woman. He started using. He started running around with this woman and started using. That's why I watch gangster movies. That's all I really watch. I watch some other stuff, but my favorite movie, I watch gangster movies because they show you the rules of the street. If you're a young brother, you need to buy all the gangster DVDs, all of them. That's what you need to be watching because it show you business. It show you family. It show you loyalty. It show you what happens when you get sloppy. It show you snakes and rats. The people that betray you, it's going to show you all of the things you need to make it. It's in the gangster movies.